Because I would have to put it together. Make it easier for me. See, I'm sitting here, we're just ready to go.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Shed List. This is our inaugural. Hello and welcome to the Shed List. This is our inaugural venture into the shed. Okay. I'm here with Terry Armstrong. Terry, welcome to the shed.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate you inviting me, being the first one. This is cool.
Yeah, you know, it's a nice place.
It is, actually. When you said shed, I didn't know what you said. Well, I built the shed in the back. I'm like, really? It's nice. It is nice in here.
All right, so part of us doing the Shed List is bringing a bunch of Black entrepreneurs and trying to give other people exposure to what they do and exposure to fields that they might not think actually exist. So what's in your shed?
Actually, at the moment, the focus is TCM. It's a men's grooming line. We've been in business since 2017. You were at one of the launch parties, and our vision is just really to help men be better versions of themselves in every aspect of life, and we're just starting with grooming. So that's kind of the most important and the biggest rock in my shed, or tool in my shed at the moment. As an entrepreneur, you have, quite frankly, people call themselves serial entrepreneurs. And so the businesses start to run together, TCM being the flagship, with my partner Rance John Miner out of St. Louis, Missouri. It's been a really enlightening experience. I was talking to my best friend actually last week, and I was telling him, I wish I'd have started this 10 years ago or maybe even 20 years ago. And I'm really in awe of the young people who are starting businesses now, because I don't think they know how lucky they are. It's not just about having your own business, but it is so much more, and it is so much more rewarding as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a Black entrepreneur in a space that we don't have enough representation. I won't say we don't have any, but my plan as one of the owners, the founders of TCM, is to be a global brand, and not only service our community, but quite frankly, the only way you can kind of normalize or equalize the impact of our community, the economy on our community, is you got to steal market share from over there on the general market side, get them buying your product. So that's really, at the end of the day, for TCM, that's the goal, is to kind of grow it to a point where, it's well known, brand awareness. I'll give you a story.
All right.
One of the most disheartening visuals I had during COVID is when they opened up the malls. And there was a line outside of Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and a couple of other designer stores. The line was 95, 96, 97% Black people. I said, and they're just really, going in there to buy a brand. I'm like, okay, I got to give you something that you'll line up around the block for me. And so, that's kind of, TCM is kind of a tool I use to get to that point, where you just create a brand that's so strong that, you might even forget who the owners are, but you'll know the brand.
Right, because branding now is just about everything. It's the same thing if you were to go to a movie. First thing someone says, oh, hey, I saw a great movie. Who was in it? Who was in it?
Yeah.
That's the brand. I mean, that is what makes the movie. I saw so-and-so.
Yeah.
Right, so everybody knows you go out to the store, you want to buy a certain shoe, a certain jacket, a certain whatever. It's because of that brand. So you making TCM a big brand, a global brand, is an admirable
I wouldn't, and let's be honest now. 7 years ago, this is not where I was at. Rance and I started TCM just off of a perceived need. He's a barber, been in the business for 20 plus years, and he understood that there wasn't enough products for men specifically. He was at the point he was using some of the products from Design Essentials, which is my family's brand, which are women's hair care products. And so when he asked, me personally, is there any plans for men? There wasn't, not, within the company Design Essentials. I tell people all the time, sometimes you have to pay attention to those moments, those opportunities when you kind of get that prick. If there's something there, and then just having the courage to kind of drill down, go down the rabbit hole a little bit. And I think that's what entrepreneurship is kind of figuring out, okay, where is there an opportunity, and how can I take advantage of it? Because let's be frank, I'm an accountant, finance, and a management consultant by trade, 20 plus years. That's what I did. I didn't see being the founder of a men's grooming line as my path into entrepreneurship. I probably saw it more as a consulting service, growing that aspect of of one of my businesses. And so, one of the things I tell youth all the time is, don't be scared to venture out of your comfort zone. You don't know, I didn't know I would end up here, and based on some things happening, I got the experience, I got the relationships with Rance, happenstance. The mutual friend said that he was one of the best barbers in the country. Got to know him. He did some work for Design Essentials, and we have a conversation, and from that conversation, 2 weeks later, we decided to launch a brand, and that's a whole nother journey. Once you make the decision to go, then you have to ask yourself, what's next?
Right.
What tools do we need to get this going? And it's sometimes the world was oversimplified, very complicated, but very, I won't say it's hard, because the world makes, the current landscape in business makes it easy to create brands, create products. What they don't teach you is how to create a community, a customer base that you can connect with. They don't. There's marketing, there's finance, there's operations, there's supplier relationships. There's how do you do a business plan? Luckily, some of this stuff you might already know how to do, but you got to have an appetite to learn.
Yeah, definitely. That is.
Hold on. Okay, so that went out, but I also want you to ask him the monitor. It just did at the time.
What went out?
The monitors. Would kind of circle back and ask that question, because we can.
So how long do you think it stays up?
Probably about 7 minutes.
And your answers.
Nah, they're good. But tell us exactly everything that TCM is doing. So,
okay.
So kind of get your question to everything. No, I can feed it to you, because you're gonna just. Yeah. I'm looking.
See, this is why you're here and you're the inaugural, because you're like, Keith will have it down in a little while, but right now he's worried about his camera. And when did the birds start chirping? What was that about?
That's good.
It's in the shed though. I might not have to clean it all up. It's like as usual.
But tell us, ask about TCM, and we got the first part. The second part of the answer, where he's telling us about where TCM is and what they do. But tell me the company. Explain the company.
Okay.
And give us an idea of products and services that you have.
Okay.
Should put up the box. Yeah. So yeah, you know, I've used some of your products and I've used some of your products and they're very good. So tell me, what is TCM? Where is it? How are you moving all that stuff?
First of all, thank you for your support, as always. Every sale matters. TCM, I mean, we have products currently in 4 categories: beard, shave, hair, and skin. We started off with beard products, 4 products, you know, beard wash, conditioners, balms, and oils, as well as we started off in shave with shave creams, shave glaze, pre-shave oil, you know, pretty much a full collection of shave products. We launched hair, which I don't have much of, but I can.
Neither do I.
Yeah, but I tell people all the time. I mean, I sold hair care products for women, so I can sell hair care products. That's the easy part. But you know, shampoos, conditioners, gels, even scalp treatments, and then you know we launched into skin with facial cleansers and facial moisturizers. We started off, you know, in trying to go direct to barbers and on our website. That was the precipice for honestly launching the company. Why Rance was really wanting to do this because he had a real connection to that space. You know, and in business, one thing you learn is you quickly understand whether something's working or not. And while we're dedicated to that space, we realized that if we wanted to grow, we needed to expand distribution, and that's when we got into the retail space, launching on Amazon, Walmart.com, where you got a product in Walmart. We had products in CVS, places like not Fresh Market, I can't remember the name of it now. But in grocery, one of the you know kind of like Whole Food competitors. So you know we've really tried to get the product out into the hands of the consumer wherever they shop, and that's the kind of the journey we're on now. Really focused on retailers who are looking for a product that speaks to people who look like us, as well as you know. I'm unapologetic about this. I'm not only selling to black people. That's only 13% of the population in the U.S. That's not a big enough market for me. I want some of the big pie. So we market to everyone. Our products are made for everyone. We pride ourselves on being able to create things that are innovative, such as being like our beard wash. Some people are concerned about the environment. We created a product that you don't have to have water to cleanse your beard. Or your hair, actually, you can use it on both. We got a lot of products with multifunctional benefits. Shampoo, 2-in-1s, 3-in-1s. That have other benefits to your skin. So TCM is basically a brand that tries to address every grooming need a man may have. And so what you'll see us coming next with will be a really push in the what they call APDO, the antiperspirant and deodorant space, the skincare body. Launching a bunch of products in that space that speak to us, and our needs. Like I said, that we think were underserved for decades, and still are to a large percent. You can go look at the settings. Most stores got a small little aisle, a little section right there. Section. That's all they, and it's things that been in that section for 40 years. And I'm sorry, I think there's room for some improvement and to really create some products that speak to a customer that has been underserved and really spends quite a lot on
those products. Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the things, I'm just gonna hold off while this. Can you hear the plane? I'm gonna hold off because we rarely get planes, but of course one decides to fly over top of us today. So we got one airport. It's way over there. Yeah. But what I'm going to bring to you is when you talk about serving not just black people, but I mean, what I get from your brand is the classic man. So when I usually see your marketing or your pages, I see well-dressed guys, well-dressed.
Yeah. So. Young, old, no matter who it is, and this is probably a little bit more about who Rance and I are. We think men, historically felt better about themselves when they put a little bit of effort into their appearance and how they presented themselves. Not in terms of ego or anything. It's just that being very intentional in that I want to look my best for this situation, this event, this whatever. So that the classic man is really a play to all men. I mean, I do mean all who think about your Sunday's best when you go into something, you put your Sunday best on because you want to present and you give your best, present the best part of you.
Look good, feel good.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is, and we think men should feel that way every day. So if we start off with you in the morning when you wake up and going through your morning routine, we try to create products that help you in 5, 10, 15 minutes get that, every day you feel like you invested something in yourself. And that's just, for your mental health, it just really means something.
So is that something when you go out and you talk to people about having a routine? Because, guys don't always think of it like that. Oh man, I got to take a shower. I got to wash. Right? But
that is the most interesting conversation we have when I do vending events. To hear the stories, I'm a soap and water guy. Oh, I dry shave. Oh, but the conversation about it is, hey, 5-10 minutes of your time, you start your day off on the right foot. Having a grooming routine just ensures that, when you walk out the door, you might not have the most expensive clothes on, you might not drive the most expensive car, you might not even go into the most, the best job in the world, but you feel good about yourself. You know that. And so that's really what we talk about. It's just, it can be as simple as what do you use to wash your face and moisturize. It doesn't have to be that's the thing about men. We don't want long, drawn-out grooming routines. That's not who we are. We want to get to it, be done with it, and I know I've invested something into my appearance. So that's really what we as TCM try to gravitate towards is giving them products that can fit into a good routine that doesn't, that is cognizant of the amount of time they have to put into it or they want to put into it. And then it's a process also. So, you mentioned that classic man, the reason TCM is probably the way I talk about the company is because sometimes classic has a connotation with older.
Oh, okay.
In terms of grooming routines, one of the things when I've spoken to some young men's groups, inevitably 16-year-olds up, to that, maybe 20, 21, they got questions about, what can I do for my skincare? Because they're dealing with it real time about, acne and other things, and they're trying to figure it out. And they're in a world now where they're on social media, so their appearance matters more. They're seen more. They want to be seen more, and so they
filters help, but it doesn't matter when you're in person.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm quite frankly, that's. The real world can be kind of harsh on them. You're 16, 17, 18. You may not be the athlete. You may not be homecoming king. But you can look your best. And the truest thing I know is if you look your best, your attitude reflects that. That you put some effort in. That you have a little bit more self-esteem. And that's really, for me and Rance, I think one of our personal journeys is that we wanted to make sure that those young men, that engage TCM, they get a chance to really view themselves as a complete package that's invested in, that, is good enough, because it matters, that confidence.